Now, you've had quite the experience, it sounds like.
Yeah, Comic-Con 2015. A lot of fun. 4 days of absolute craziness with people who smell and are dressed up in costumes.
What more can you ask for in life, really?
I know, right?
Now, I've seen a couple of things that really caught my eye that I'm excited to talk to you about, but what is the marquee thing that you found was the most satisfying?
Well, I mean, it has to be Star Wars because that was the one that it was the most highly anticipated, and it actually came through. Everybody I talked to before who was waiting for days to see this panel wanted to see Harrison Ford make an appearance because back in Anaheim in April, we had this big Star Wars thing, but Harrison Ford wasn't there. This time he was there, got a huge standing ovation. The crowd loved it. We didn't get new footage from the film, which everybody really wanted, but we got this behind-the-scenes trailer thing, which has gone online, and a lot of people have watched. So it was a lot of fun. And then everybody was treated to a huge concert with Star Wars music right afterward, and they were given lightsabers and a fireworks show.
That's awesome.
They really buttered up the Star Wars crowd there. Not that they needed to. These people are going to go see the movie anyway. But, it was a lot of fun.
Now, did you sense, and you went to to see this, you were surrounded by Star Wars enthusiasts. Did you sense any skepticism at all? Because it seems like people have kind of put the prequel, the bitter taste they had in their mouth from some of the prequel stuff away, and now they're really looking forward to these new movies.
Yeah, and this really went a long way to kind of help that. Because one of the things they did, and this was smart, they brought out this animatronic kind of creature that's going to be in the new film. It looked like a shriveled camel. It's kind of hard to describe, but he was a pack rat alien thing that's going to be on this new planet or one of the planets. And he was controlled by 5 or so people off stage. And the point of bringing him out wasn't that he was so interesting. It was to show that this stuff is not CGI. They built everything, and it's actually real, and you can touch it. So it's not like the last trilogy, which was all CGI, and we're not happy with that. This really goes back to the first film.
And it's interesting because that doesn't seem to age very well, the CGI stuff. And you look at, there's kind of been a turn in the tides, especially since Mad Max looked so great, and that was mostly done kind of with tangible things as well.
Sure, and the thing, I mean, this alien thing was, okay, it was whatever, it was interesting, but whatever. The big highlight for a couple months ago at the Star Wars celebration was the soccer ball-looking robot BB-8. That was by far the coolest thing that I've seen, and that was real, and they built it, and they created all this new technology. So, I mean, they're just going to have amazing stuff in this new film.
Now, I got to ask you if you saw any of there's a lot of DC Universe stuff. Did you see any of the Batman versus Superman? Because that new trailer came out, and that's interesting.
I did see the new trailer. I watched it. They showed it twice in the hall, and I finally, for the first time, got an understanding of, okay, what this movie is going to be about. Because Batman and Superman, they've fought before in the comic books, but this is a completely new story that director Zack Snyder said that they made up for this universe. And so we kind of got a sense of why they're fighting, and it seems to be that maybe Superman did something that brought down one of Wayne's towers and Bruce Wayne's towers, and so that's why they're fighting. A little bit of a backstory, but it just kind of made more sense and crystallized the world, and I really like that. One thing I didn't like, though, is then you also, if the Batman-Superman conflict was enough, then you introduce Lex Luthor, and then you also introduce Wonder Woman, and I'm scared that it's going to be a little too much in film. I just want to see the conflict between Batman and Superman. That would be enough for me. You introduce this other stuff, it might get a little muddled. And
it's interesting that you mentioned that because I had the same thought, especially at one point you can see in the trailer, which I saw this morning, you can actually see a Robin costume, which is one more wrench to throw into the works.
Interesting, and I completely missed that. I didn't even see that. What a lot of people thought is what they're doing is they're setting up the Justice League with this movie. So a lot of stuff is going to be introduced. This movie is going to be the basis for the next, 10 years of Warner Brothers DC films.
Speaking of another element to that, Suicide Squad, did you catch that?
Yeah, that was really cool. The footage for that looked a lot of fun. One of my complaints about these DC films and the Batman films that they always do, they're so dark and take everything so seriously. And that's just not... I kind of like the humor that Marvel injects into these things. Marvel's a little lighter, but the Suicide Squad looked really dark, but also kind of really funny and campy. And I think Margot Robbie stole the stole the whole trailer as Harley Quinn. I think everybody was really excited for her more than anything else. Will Smith was there too, and they brought out the whole cast. The whole cast was there for maybe 2 minutes. They said hello to everybody, and then they flew them back to Toronto. It was very expensive to just bring them out for that. But we got to see the trailer, and that was definitely the highlight.
And do you think that the appearance at the end with Jared Leto as the Joker has done anything to kind of assuage any of the people who are a little bit hesitant about that based on how great and iconic Heath Ledger was in his role? People have been a little bit tepid on especially his appearance.
Yeah, no, I don't know that it did anything to really help. We'll have to wait and see. That Heath Ledger's Joker is just iconic, not in comic book movies, but in movie roles. He's just so amazing and great in that. Jared Leto, also an amazing actor, and the appearance at the end, it was okay. It looks like it bites a little bit off of Ledger. I want to see him hopefully make it his own and make it better, but he's got a lot to live up to. And,
if you look back and you remember the response to Heath Ledger being cast in the role, it was a little bit same response. It was, this guy's only known for doing 10 Things I Hate About You and A Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain. How's he going to be this tortured animal of a person in the Joker? And I think that turned out pretty well.
I think it did. And, of course, we'll have to see the whole movie, and that will be the true test. But, I'm nervous about it. I really am.
Now, any other, major things that pop out of your head, something that, maybe surprised you, something you didn't expect? What was kind of another pleasant thing we can look forward to?
The absolute highlight that nobody was expecting, that I wasn't even on my radar and ended up winning Comic-Con, I think, for a lot of people, was the trailer for Deadpool. This is Ryan Reynolds' R-rated comic book movie. We saw the character of Deadpool in an X-Men. It was much maligned. Everybody was very unhappy. They've been trying to make this movie for a long time and finally got the green light to do it. The trailer for this movie is so raunchy and so funny that the crowd demanded immediately afterwards that they roll it again. I had not seen that happen at Comic-Con, I don't know, in my 5 years that I've been covering it. The crowd started chanting, show it again, and they did show it again. And from my understanding, on Twitter, Deadpool beat Batman versus Superman in terms of mentions.
Wow.
So this film was definitely the surprise highlight that nobody saw coming. Blew everybody away.
I'm really excited about that movie. He's one of those guys that as soon as they said we need a guy that's going to play Deadpool, I think everyone in their mind went right to Ryan Reynolds because he's got that kind of snarky attitude, and I'm glad that they're doing the character justice because it would be very easy for them to water it down. So I'm glad to hear that it sounds like they didn't do that.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see it. And you'll see the trailer coming up on the internet, Ryan Reynolds says, in a couple weeks.
All right, Jason Nathanson from ABC News, thanks so much. Hope you had a great time in Comic-Con in San Diego.
My pleasure. Take care.